Williams, along with fellow comedian Billy Crystal, appeared in a cameo at the beginning of an episode of the third season of Friends. Both Williams and Crystal's part were not originally in the script. They were in the building where the show was shooting and were asked to improvise their line. Williams appeared on an episode of the American version of Whose Line Is It Anyway in 2000, Emmy Game of Scenes from a Happy Series. The scene, What Robin Williams
The entertainment world is still in shock and
dated I Have a Career
over the unexpected death of
2010,
legendary comedian
Robert De Niro
Robin Williams.
On Saturday Night
Williams
Live.
died on Monday as
What else was that?
suicide.
2012, he guest starred
years
as
old.
himself in two
Marion County
series,
coroner said in a
Louis
statement that the death was
In February 2013,
suicide
CBS announced that it picked up a pilot episode for a David
comedian
Kelly
spokeswoman
comedy
Mara
called The Crazy
Backbone
Ones.
said Robin Williams has passed away this morning.
Picked up on
battling
Battling
with depression of late.
Williams
played
played
tragic
Robert,
and
the
lost
father
the
who
family
works
respectfully
with his
asked
daughter,
her
played by
privacy
Michelle
during the
Sarah Michelle Taylor, in an
His
advertisement.
third wife,
Office.
current wife,
Series premiered on September 20th,
widow,
2013.
Susan Schneider added, "This morning I lost my husband and my best friend while the world."
Most of Williams' acting career was in film, although he gave some performances on stage as
I'm
well
utterly
as heartbroken
heartbroken
as
on behalf of Robin
Esther Grant in a
Scott.
production of Winnie the Bird,
Attorney
Got Up
General
with Steve Martin.
His
First film was
is
1977 comic Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses. His performance in Good Morning Vietnam in 1987 earned Williams an
Williams won the
Academy
Academy Award for
Many of
Best
his roles
Supporting
have
Actor
been comedy, singles with Bill Hunting. His role as the genie in the animated film Aladdin in 1992 was instrumental in establishing the importance of star power in voice acting.
Williams married
Actor
third wife
in 2011.
Williams used his
Williams
talent
was
again
recently
in starting
started
to lead
a
a
comedy Dr. No
recently
in
in
2000
rehab and
one
life
film
treat.
AI Artificial Intelligence was
In
reported
the
2005 animated film Robot.
Addiction
2006
Minnesota
Animated Academy Award winning
long-term sobriety.
Happy Feet and an
The actor rose to fame on the Happy Days spin-off of Mork and Mindy, playing
Everyone's
every alien
Hero.
Mark from the planet
He was also
Four.
the voice of the
With his
time
wild
former
head of
attraction
weary
of the
hair,
Walt Disney
umbrella
World
performances,
Resort
and
about
rainbow
a time
suspenders.
traveling robot
Williams
who
became a
encounters
household name
Jules
while
Verne.
his Mork and Mindy catchphrase "Nanu Nanu" was
Williams'
uttered
roles in
through
dramatic films
out the
garnered
country.
him an Oscar
The actor who
as
struggled with
supporting
substance
actor for his
abuse
role
through
as
the decades went on
Will
to big
Hunting,
screen success
as well
with
as
films
two
such as
previous
Good
Academy
Morning
Award
America,
nominations for
Fisher
playing
King, and
an
Good Will
English
Hunting, which
teacher in
earned him
Dead
the
Poets
Oscar
Society in
in the supporting actor
1989
category.
for playing a troubled
As a
homeless
comedian,
man in
Williams
Fisher
was known
King
for his dramatic
1981.
genius, though he
The same year
also
he played an
proved
adult
adept
Peter
in
Pan in the
dramatic
movie
roles.
Hulk.
Having established his dramatic
Playing
acting
dramatic
ability
films
with films such as The Fisher King,
Moscow on
Dead
the
Poets
Hudson
Society, and What
1984,
Dreams May Come.
Awakenings in
Williams' film
1990,
career
and
took
What
a
Dreams
turn
May Come in
for the
1998.
darker
In the
with
2002
films such
film
as Insomnia and 1 Hour
played a rider,
psychological thriller
killer on the run
Williams
from a
plays a
sleep
mild-mannered film
deprived Los
developer who
Angeles
stalks
police
a family.
played by Al Pacino in
film
Alaska.
But Williams'
Also,
professional
2002
success
in the
was accompanied by
psychological
personal
thriller 1 Hour
turmoil.
Photo.
A cocaine addict during the late 70s and
development
early 80s,
technician becomes
Williams
obsessed with
grappled
family
with a cocaine
he has
addiction,
developed pictures
decided to
for
quit
a long
drugs
time.
following the death of his
In
friend.
2006, Williams starred in a nightly thriller about a radio show.
2006,
realized
the actor who was trained
he
at
has
Juilliard
friendship
and found
may or may not
grappled
exist.
with his
That
demons.
year, he started in 5 movies and checking Man of the Year,
later admitting
was
that he
surprised
suffered from
at
alcoholism.
the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice
The actor suffered
health
health
an
issues
episode of
in
Extreme Makeover
2009
Home Edition
and
that aired
heart surgery
on January 30th, 2008.
aortic valve.
Williams was known
Marion
for his
County
improvisational skills and
Office
impersonation.
Coroner
His
Division
performances
made the
frequently
following
involved
announcement.
impromptu
On
humor,
August 11,
design,
2014,
delivered in rapid fire succession by
5 a.m.
mistake.
Marion County
According to the Aladdin DVD commentary, most of
call
the dialogue
the
of
male
the
adult
was improvised.
had been located
At one point, he was
unconscious,
running
inside
inside his
his
Riddler,
residence
Batman
in
Forever,
unincorporated
Tim
Tiburon,
Burton
California.
Earlier,
Sheriff's
Williams had been a
office,
strong contender to play
as well
the
as
Joker
Tiburon
Batman.
Fire Department
He
and the
expressed
Southern
interest
Variant
in
Fire
assuming the
Protection
role
District
in The Dark Knight, the sequel to
Dispatch
2005's Batman
with
Begins.
emergency personnel
Part of
arriving
the
on
Joker was
scene
played by
at
Heath
12
Ledger,
p.m.
who won
The male
Washington
subject
the
pronounced
Academy Award
deceased
for
as
Best Supporting
follows.
Actor had been
This
identified
portrayed
as
by
Robin
Chris Laren
Williams in the
Williams,
made-for-TV
63-year-old
biopic behind the camera to unknown the rise story of Walt and Mindy in 2005.
An investigation into the cause, manner, and circumstances
in Hollywood as a struggling
investigations and
Williams did a number of stand-up comedy
sheriff's
tours beginning in the early 1970s.
Preliminary
tours included
information
developed during
Robin
the
Williams
1982, Robin Williams and Met, 1986, and Robin Williams Live on Broadway in 2002,
where he resides.
Latter broke many long-held
Holy
records for a
Spirit
comedy show.
August 10th,
In some cases,
2014.
tickets were sold out within 30
Mr.
minutes.
Williams was located
on
shortly before the
After a 6-year break in August 2008 vacation, Williams announced
County
that
Sheriff
26
Office
cities
Coroner
titled
Division
weapons self-destruction. He said that suicide was a chance to make crisis the expense of the
but a
current Bush
comprehensive
administration must be. By the time the show was staged, only a few minutes covered that subject. A forensic tour started at the end of September 2009, concluded in New York on December 3rd, and was the subject of an HBO special to be conducted December 8, 2009. Robin Williams was born in Chicago, Illinois, headlined his own one-man show, Robin Williams Live on Broadway, that played at the Broadway former model from New Orleans, Louisiana. His Broadway actor, Fitzgerald Williams, was a senior executive at Ford Motor Company in charge of the Midwest region. The Richard Rogers great-great-grandfather was Mississippi Senator and Governor previously appeared J. at Lincoln Center, and Williams' ancestry included English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish, German, and French. He was raised in the Episcopal Church while his mother practiced Christian Science. He grew up in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, where he was a student at the Detroit Country Day School and later moved to Woodacre, Marion County, California, where he attended the public Redwood High School. Williams studied at Claremont McKenna College. William left Claremont and attended a full scholarship to the esteemed Juilliard School in New York City. In between Claremont and Juilliard, he attended the College of Marin for theater. He had two half-brothers, Todd, who died August 14, 2007, and McLaurin. Williams described himself as a quiet child whose first imitation was of his grandmother to his mother. He did not overcome his shyness until he became involved with his high school drama department. In 1973, Williams was one of only 20 students accepted in the freshman class at Juilliard and one of only 2 students to be accepted by John Houseman into the advanced program at the school that year. The other was Christopher Reeves, who became known as Superman. In his dialect classes, Williams had no trouble quickly mastering dialects. Williams left Juilliard in 1976. His television career began as being a cast member on the short-lived The Richard Pryor Show on NBC. Williams was cast by Gary Marshall as the alien Mork in a 1978 episode of the hit TV series Happy Days, after impressing the producer with his quirky sense of humor when he sat on his head when asked to take a seat for the audition. As Mork, Williams improvised much of his dialogue and physical comedy, speaking in a high nasal voice. Mork's appearance was so popular with viewers that it led to a spin-off hit television sitcom Mork and Mindy, which ran from 1978 to 1982. The show was written to accommodate Williams' improvisations. Although he played the same character as in his appearance in Happy Days, the show was set in the present day in Boulder, Colorado, instead of the late 1950s in Milwaukee. Mork was an extremely popular character featured on posters, coloring books, lunch boxes, and other merchandise. Starting in the late 1970s and through the 1980s, Williams began to reach a wider audience with his stand-up comedy, including 3 HBO comedy specials, Off the Wall, which was in 1978, An Evening with Robin Williams in 1982, and Robin Williams Live at the Met in 1986. And in 1986, Williams co-hosted the 58th Annual Academy Awards. His stand-up work was a consistent thread throughout his career, as seen by the success of his one-man show, Robin Williams Live on Broadway in 2002. He was voted 13th on Comedy Central's list of the 100 greatest stand-ups of all time in 2004. Williams, along with fellow comedian Billy Crystal, appeared in a cameo at the beginning of an episode of the 3rd season of Friends. Both Williams and Crystal's parts were not originally in the script. They were in the building where the show was shooting and were asked to improvise their lines. Williams appeared on an episode of the American version of Whose Line Is It Anyways in 2000 during a game called Scenes from a Hat. The scene, What Robin Williams is Thinking Right Now, was drawn, and Williams stated, "I have a career. What the hell am I doing here?" In 2010, he appeared with Robert De Niro on Saturday Night Live in the sketch What Up With That. In 2012, he guest starred as himself in 2 FX series, Louie and Wilfred. In February 2013, CBS announced that it picked up a pilot episode for the David E. Kelley comedy The Crazy Ones, starring Williams. The series was officially picked up on May 10, 2013. Williams played Simon Roberts, the father who works with his daughter, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, in an advertising office. The series premiered on September 26, 2013, and was canceled after 1 season. Most of Williams' acting career was in film, although he gave some performances on stage as well, notably as Estragon in a production of Waiting for Godot with Steve Martin. His first film was the 1977 comedy Can I Do It Till I Need Glasses. His performance in Good Morning Vietnam, which in 1987 earned Williams an Academy Award nomination. Many of his roles have been comedies tingled with pathos. His role as the genie in the animated film Aladdin in 1992 was instrumental in establishing the importance of star power in voice actor casting. Williams used his voice talents again in Ferngully as the holographic Dr. No in the 2001 film AI, Artificial Intelligence, in the 2005 animated film Robots, the 2006 Academy Award-winning Happy Feet, and an uncredited vocal performance in the film Everybody's Hero. He was also the voice of the Timekeeper, a former attraction at the Walt Disney World Resort about a time-traveling robot who encounters Jules Verne's and brings him to the future. Williams' roles in dramatic films garnered him an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor for his role as a psychologist in Good Will Hunting in 1997, as well as 2 previous Academy Award nominations for playing an English teacher in Dead Poets Society in 1989 and for playing a troubled homeless man in The Fisher King in 1991. That same year, he played an adult Peter Pan in the movie Hook. Other acclaimed dramatic films include Moscow on Hudson in 1984, Awakenings 1990, and What Dreams May Come 1998. In the 2002 film Insomnia, Williams portrayed a writer-killer on the run from a sleep-deprived Los Angeles policeman played by Al Pacino in rural Alaska. Also in 2002, in the psychological thriller 1 Hour Photo, Williams played an emotionally disturbed photo development technician who becomes obsessed with a family for whom he has developed pictures for a long time. In 2006, Williams starred in The Night Listener, a thriller about a radio show host who realizes that the child with whom he has developed a friendship may or may not exist. That year, he starred in 5 movies, including Man of the Year, was a surprise guest at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and appeared on an episode of Extreme Makeover Home Edition that aired on January 30th, 2006. Williams was known for his improvisational skills and impersonations, and his performance frequently involved impromptu humor design and delivered in rapid-fire succession while on stage. According to the Aladdin DVD commentary, most of his dialogue as a genie was improvised. At one point, he was in the running to play the Riddler in Batman Forever until Tim Burton dropped the project. Earlier, Williams had been a strong contender to play the Joker in Batman. He had expressed interest in assuming the role in The Dark Knight, the sequel to 2005's Batman Begins, although the part of the Joker was played by Heath Ledger, who won posthumously the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Williams did a number of stand-up comedy tours beginning in the early 1970s. Some of his tours included An Evening with Robin Williams, 1982, Robin Williams at the Met, 1986, and Robin Williams Live on Broadway in 2002. The latter broke many long-held records for a comedy show. In some cases, tickets were sold out within 30 minutes of going on sale. After a 6-year break, in August 2008, Williams announced a new 26-city tour titled Weapons of Self-Destruction. He said that this was his last chance to make cracks at the expense of the current Bush administration. But by the time the show was staged, only a few minutes covered the subject. The tour started at the end of September 2009 and concluded in New York on December 3rd and was the subject of an HBO special that aired on December 8, 2009. Williams was an avid enthusiast of video games and named 2 of his children after game characters. He named his daughter after Princess Zelda from the Legend of Zelda action-adventure game series. They both have been featured in an ad for the Nintendo 3DS remake of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. His son may have been named after Cody from the beat-em-up game Final Fight. He also enjoyed pen-and-paper role-playing games and online video games, recently playing Warcraft 3, Days of Defeat, Half-Life, and the first-person shooter Battlefield 2 as a sniper. He was also previously a fan of the Wizardry series of role-playing video games. In January 6, 2006, he performed live at the Consumer Electronics Show during Google's keynote. In the 2006 E3, on the invitation of Will Wright, he demonstrated the creature editor of Spore while simultaneously commenting on the creature's look. He also complimented the game's versatility, comparing it to Populous in black and white. Later that year, he was one of several celebrities to participate in the worldwide Dungeons & Dragons Game Day. A fan of professional road cycling, he was a regular of the U.S. Postal and Discovery Channel Pro Cycling Team Bus and hotels during the years Lance Armstrong dominated the Tour de Force. He owned over 50 bikes. He also enjoyed rugby union and was a big fan of former all-black Jonah Luma. Williams was also a supporter of eco-friendly vehicles. He drove a Toyota Prius and was on the waiting list for an Aptera 2 Series electronic vehicle before the company folded in December 2011. His charity work, Williams and his former wife Marcia founded the Windfall Foundation, a philanthropic organization to raise money for many charities. Williams devoted much of his energy to charity works, including the comic relief fundraising efforts. The program was hosted by himself, Billy Crystal, and Whoopi Goldberg. In December 1999, he sang in French on the BBC-inspired music video International Celebrities doing a cover of the Rolling Stones' Only Rock and Roll for the charity Children's Promise. In response to the 2010 Canterbury earthquakes, Williams donated all proceeds of his weapons of self-destruction Christchurch performance to help rebuild the New Zealand city. Half of the proceeds were donated to the Red Cross and half to the Memorial Building Fund. Williams had performed with the USO for U.S. troops stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and was also supportive of St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital for several years. After the shocking and timely death of Robin Williams on Monday, the outpouring of grief and support from the celebrity community was immediate. For those who worked with him, to those who called him a friend, and to those who were simply fans of his work, his loss was immediately felt. Jay Leno, who came up in the stand-up comedy circuit at the same time, said in a statement, "I saw him on stage the very first time he auditioned at the Improv in Los Angeles, and we've been friends ever since. It's a very sad day." Danny DeVito directed Williams in the 2002 Warner Bros. Film Death to Smoochie. He said in a statement, "Sad to think about this, hard to speak, hard to say, hard to take. All I can think about is what a joy he was to be with. I'm devastated and I'm sending my love to his family and everyone who loved him. My heart is broken by this news." Director Steven Spielberg, who was a longtime friend and worked with Williams on the 1991 film Hook, said, "Ron was a lightning storm of comic genius and our laughter was the thunder that sustained him." Williams' 1996 Jack co-star Bill Cosby said in a statement, "I am so stunned." Chris Columbus, who directed Williams in both Mrs. Doubtfire and Bicentennial Man in the 1990s, called Williams an inspired and gifted comedian as well as one of this generation's actors. The director went on to add, "To watch Robin work was a magical and special privilege. His performance was unlike anything any of us has ever seen. They came from some spiritual and otherworldly place. He truly was one of the few people who deserved the title of genius. The world was a better place with Robin in it, and his beautiful legacy will live on forever." Academy Award-winning actress Mercedes Ruehl, who starred with William in one of his most dramatic roles, 1981's The Fisher King, said in a statement, "Ron was a man graced and challenged by a complex and mighty soul. May he rest in peace." Melissa Gay Harden starred opposite Williams in Flubber, the 1987 remake of the Mad Scientist classic. She said, "I have never laughed so hard as with Robin. He kept casting crews in good spirits. I am shocked at his death and his tremendous battle with depression. He will be remembered for the joy he brought to carefully, thoughtfully wrought characters and the spark of human hope he so believed in." Comedian David Steinberg said, "Ron Williams and I went on stage together for 6 months last year playing theaters across the country. Besides seeing his brilliant improvisational mind in action every night was the pleasure in just getting to know him and his generosity and spirit. He looked after Jonathan Winters and put him on his TV shows. He would drive to Santa Barbara weekly to make sure Jonathan was okay. A comic genius looking after another comic genius. Robin looked after everyone. If only he would have looked after himself." Ben Stiller, who worked with Ron Williams on the Night of Museum movies, said, "I met Ron when I was 13 years old at the Improv. I was there with my parents who were performing, and it was crowded, and I heard this voice behind me say, 'Stay close to your mother, you'll be safe. Stay close to your mother, you'll be safe.' I turned around, and it was Robin. For a 13-year-old who was a huge Mork and Mindy fan, it was sort of like the end of the world. I never forget it. So working with him years later, I always had this little voice inside me of going, 'You're acting like with Robin Williams. This is the coolest thing ever.' I never got over being a fan. I think most people my age have the same feeling that he and Steve Martin and Bill Murray sort of represented what it means to be funny." Fellow comedian Steve Martin tweeted, "I could not be more stunned by the loss of Robin Williams, Minch, great talent, acting partner, genuine so." And President Barack Obama released a statement on the death of Robin Williams. He said, "Robin Williams was an airman, a doctor, a genie, a nanny, a president, a professor, a bang-rang Peter Pan, and everything in between. But he was one of a kind. He arrived in our lives as an alien, but he ended up touching every element of the human spirit. He made us laugh, he made us cry, he gave his immeasurable talent freely and generously to those who need it most. From our troops stationed abroad to the marginalized on our own street, the Obama family offer our condolences to Robin's family, his friends, and everyone who found their voice and their verse thanks to Robin Williams." Williams' daughter Zelda posted a blog saying, You alone will have the stars as no one else has them. In one of the stars I shall be living, in one of them I shall be laughing, and if it's so, it will be as if all the stars were laughing when you look at the sky at night. Only you will have the stars that can laugh. I love you, I miss you. I'll try to keep looking up, Z. Williams leaves behind 4 completed films that are slated to hit theaters within the next 12 months. Always game to entertain children, Williams reprised his role as Teddy Roosevelt in The Night at the Museum Secret of the Tomb, which he already wrapped shooting, and Fox is set to release on December 19th of this year, allowing audiences to enjoy his comic gifts over the holidays. Williams also stars in the holiday comedy Merry Freaking Christmas, which Phase 4 Films plans to release in the U.S. on November 7th. Universal Pictures International is distributing overseas. The film co-stars Wendy McLendon-Covey, Lauren Graham, Joel McHale, Candice Bergen, Jeffrey Tambor, Oliver Platt, Clark Duke, Tom Heidecker, and Piers Gagnon. 20th Century had also been developing a sequel to Williams' 1993 hit Mrs. Doubtfire, though the actor had yet to read the script. Williams had been attached to star opposite Oliver Cooper, who was the star of Project X and the indie movie of the film by Alan Stewart Eisner, though the film was not especially close to starting production. The woman MMA fighter War Machine allegedly beat up to a pulp says she was actually pummeled within an inch of her life. Porn star Christy Mack says War Machine broke up with her in May, but for some reason showed up at her house at 2 a.m. Friday. She says she walked in, didn't say a word, but unleashed a beating on her friend. War Machine threw the friend out of the house. Then she says he allegedly made her strip and shower in front of him. Then she said the beating began, resulting in 18 broken bones around her neck, a broken nose, missing teeth, a fractured rib, and ruptured liver. Max says War Machine also saw much of my hair off with a dull knife. She says he threatened to rape her but was unable to perform. Max says she ran out of the house naked, begging neighbors to help her. One did and took her to the hospital where she remains. War Machine is on the run. There is a $10,000 reward for his capture. The woman who fled and slammed into the car with The Rock's mom inside has been charged with DUI. The head-on crash in Claremont, Florida left the Rock's mom, Ada Malvia Johnson, and her passenger Lena Fanene hospitalized. Cops says the woman blew through 2 red lights before crashing into the car. Police are asking prosecutors to get an arrest warrant for the alleged drunk driver, who is also hospitalized with injuries. The Rock had given his mom the white Escalade for Christmas in 2012. George Clooney's fiancée has turned down the United Nations offer to put her on a commission to examine possible war crimes in Gaza because she says she's simply too busy. Amal Amadoulian, an international lawyer, says she's got 8 cases on the front burner and can't accept the role to become a member of the 3rd member commission. She says, I am horrified by the situation in the occupied Gaza Strip, particularly the civilian casualties that have been caused, and strongly believe there should be an independent investigation and accountability for crimes that have been committed. Interesting, she says, crimes that have been committed. Sounds like some judgments have been made here. She also has a wedding to plan, no shame in that. Kelly Rutherford claims her children are being illegally deported by a renegade judge who has ordered them to live with their father in France, and if things don't change, she'll break the law and keep her kids right here in the USA. The former star of Gossip Girl was in a bitter custody battle with her ex-hubby, Daniel Gershier. He now lives in France, and in L.A. County Superior Court judge ruled he had a right to primary custody of the children ages 5 and 7. In the new legal documents obtained by TMZ, Rutherford claims sending her kids out of the country creates an immigration issue, and that's beyond the scope of a state judge's power. Rutherford wants a federal judge to invalidate the state order and give her custody so the children can remain in the U.S. And the actress says that if she doesn't win in court, her only recourse is to defy the judge and keep her kids. She acknowledges she'll get in trouble. Hollywood actor James Franco has revealed the first photo of himself as ex-gay activist Michael Gatsby in an upcoming film. On Instagram, Franco shared the image of himself as Gatsby in an upcoming biopic named Michael. The film Michael will portray the life of Michael Gatsby, who as a young man edited Young Gay American magazine before in later life renouncing homosexuality and marrying a woman. James Franco sets to star in the lead role, and Star Trek actor Zachary Quino, who came out as a gay man in 2011, has signed on to film to play Gatsby's ex-boyfriend, while Emma Roberts will star as his female love interest. And finally, Breaking Bad spin-off Better Call Saul gets first teaser trailer and air date. Short clip which aired over the weekend shows actor Bob Odenkirk as Breaking Bad's errant lawyer Saul Goodman in discussion with a client. It's barely enough to satisfy the craving, but Breaking Bad fans have been given a small fix in the form of a 9-second teaser for forthcoming spin-off Better Call Saul. The clip, which aired on AMC in the U.S. over the weekend, shows Bob Odenkirk's errand lawyer Saul Goldman addressing a client. Lawyers were like health insurance. You hope you never need it, but man, oh man, not having it? No. Keen Breaking Bad viewers will notice that Goodman's hair has more thickness to it than usual. In July, Billboard appeared in Albuquerque, Mexico's advertising the services of James M. McGill, Goodman's alter ego as a young man. Callers to the number could hear Odenkirk's voice on an answer phone message. The teaser clip ends with the promised air date of February 2015. The show will air on Netflix in the UK. And that is your entertainment report for Tuesday, August 12, 2014. This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Mello. I'll be back tomorrow delivering some of the major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Mello, that's RayMelo, or on Twitter @The Enter Report. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, everyone.